Okay, it's February 2024, and I'm trying to make a video, used my phone and a camera, so here we go. And this is it's on a 1997 Nissan Pickup, and D21U, that means standard body. That's what mine is, a standard short bed. It's not an extended cab. But my understanding here from everybody on the internet is 96 and 97, the parts are interchangeable on the Nissan Pickup hard body, but not like people think from 87 to 97. I hadn't seen that. Matter of fact, I'll do another video on the mass airflow sensor. A lot of people are buying the wrong one. So let me start this parts video if I can. I've got a video going within a video. Let me see. So I did this because I wanted to show you today the idle air control valve, which I'm going to point to it when the schematic gets high enough here. And you can get these schematics, you can see them on NissanPartsDeal.com up here. Nissan Parts Deal. Here's the idle air control valve, which it's got two long screws in the top and actually two in the bottom. I guess this is the bottom one, this is the top, yeah. Doesn't show all four for some reason, but the top ones are definitely the longer ones. So it'll be quite a long video because that's just took me 4 hours to replace it. Let me stop this from going here. But oh, this is the gasket right here. This is a solenoid that sits right above it. Idle air control valve. It operates it. I ripped my gasket a little bit. I just used forma gasket. When you take it off, you're gonna, here it is right here, the actual idle air control valve. $202. That's why you want to clean it out. But you can get them on eBay less than that. But I just added some gasket maker, and it just, you know, put it all in here, so it'll fill in the gaps because it kind of busted off a little bit. It'll be all right. To scrape that off is hard to get to. It's hard to get off as it is. It took me 4 or 5 hours to do this job by myself. You have to remove hoses. You have to remove. I'll show you a little bit of what I had to do, but I'm leaving my phone number on the video for you to call me, because or text me would be better, because it's complicated job. You can do it, but you better have the time to do it. And so let's close this, and I'll just add the other videos to it. So my phone number is 706-394-5879. That's 706. Text me, I'd be better served. I'm not an expert. I'm a YouTube mechanic like a lot of you guys. But what is happening on my 97 is it's idling up from about 800 is where it's supposed to stay. But it's idling up to 1,000, and sometimes it'll idle all the way down to 600 and almost cut off. And before I replaced that mass airflow sensor, it was cutting off in different, it would jump and buck and everything else. And I put the wrong mass airflow sensor in there. When I took the old one out, it looked like the resistors were gone. The new ones have resistor. I'll have to show you that on a separate video. It'll just, the video will be titled Mass Airflow Sensor Replacement with my year. So let me merge this video with the other ones to show you what I did and what it looked like. And it was not that filthy, but it seems like when I finished spraying it out with carb cleaner or throttle body cleaner, whichever, it seems like it's idling a lot better now. It's idling steady. It's not jumping as much, but I'm also going to replace the oxygen sensors. But I've replaced and cleaned a bunch more sensors on this truck. And it had a lot of codes, and I can tell you on the email what the codes were. It even had the engine control module. Replace that as a code. You don't want to do that. I was determined that wasn't the problem, and sure enough it wasn't. So it's idling a lot better, but I think I'm going to have to replace the oxygen sensors. So let me stop this and merge it with the other videos and show you what I did. Apologize for it being so long, but what can you do? I'm going to zoom in on this, where this idle air control valve came from, a little better with this better camera. Right there. It's got some gasket material that broke off. I'll show you on the idle air control valve where it broke off, but I'm going to put some gasket sealer back on there and hope that, you know, it'll fix it. But these are some of your sensors here. I don't know if you can see this red light, but it's not showing up in the camera too good. I thought it would. It's not showing up at all. I have to point with my finger. That's weird. Red dot on here barely showed up. Anyway, this is the, since I got everything off, the air filter and everything off, this is your throttle positioning sensor, TPS. It's slotted. There's some settings. I've got the settings on this. My phone number's, if you want to text me, 706-394-5879. And these are slotted. This throttle positioning sensor, if you're going to replace it, you can't clean it, then you'll have to reset it. You can set it with a voltmeter, you can set it by the idle. That's why those two screws are slotted. And now I replace this mass airflow sensor. And I'm going to make another video about that because, zoom out, not in. This is it right here. See, they make one. This is the one from, says Nissan on it, and it's Hitachi. I think that's the original. You can't even, you buy this off eBay, but it's got 2 resistors in it. If you see the ones, I'll show them to you, pictures of them or whatever. The ones with just the wires, you don't want the ones with just thin wire. This had a big resistor and a little resistor on it. This is a factory one, but you can't not buy, other than eBay, the only place I found it, but Nissan won't sell you just this mass airflow sensor. They'll sell you the whole throttle body for $400 or $500, $600, I forget what it was. Don't care, wasn't going to buy it anyway. So that's 2 parts, and that's 2. I cleaned this part here. I don't know if that goes into the mass airflow sensor or not. This hole here looks like it does. Yeah, it goes in there and cleans that. You can look in there actually and see those resistors, so I wouldn't poke anything in there. Yeah, I'm going to show them to you another way too. Oop, that's blurry. Anyway, when you spray into the throttle body, it also has a hole on, it comes out the bottom, and it goes into this, comes out of this other sensor down here. There's a hole down here. I think you remove this, that line, right? Now I'm going into all different stuff. I can't even see it. Where's that? Let me see where the mass airflow sensor's right here. And there's the line coming out below it. I think that if you unhook that line, that'll clean that, whatever that is, out. I got to go back over that. It's going to be a long video because what I did, my goal is, because my idle was going up and down from 800 to 1,000. A lot of people had that problem with this 97 Nissan Pickup D21 standard cab. You almost have to get the VIN number to get the parts. The 96s and 97s were alike. Not true that all these ones are created equal. If you don't put the VIN number in for the part number, you won't get the right part most of the time. But that's your temperature sending unit right there. I replaced that. And now I'm cleaned out. Let me go back here and show you. You know, there's parts you have to take off. I showed this in another video, but it might be redundant. But this bolts on right here. Bolts on. It's got a hole right there, 2 holes. It lines up. I'm not doing such a good job. Anyway, that has to come off. And then there's 2 hoses and a sensor connector that goes to that. That's another kind of sensor, I guess. that goes to that. But I label them front, rear, and front for the hoses. Labeled everything. But I got to bolt this booker back on. Let me see, I'm going to replace some hoses too while I'm at it. So anyway, you can text me, or this is a February 24th, I didn't say it. So I'm just trying to help people that the idle's up, and sometimes it'll idle down real low from 800 to 600 and really cut off. But that idle air control valve is really only effective at idle. When you press the gas, it disengages. You don't need it no more. You know, because you're idling fast enough to keep the motor running. But when you come up to the light or something, it idles down. I don't know if that's the problem or not. Let me show it to you. It was corroded. I got another video shows it corroded. I'm going to have to merge these videos. Well, here it is clean. That ain't much better. Ain't got enough light to show you, really. It's daylight, but if I can pour anything out of it. Still had some cleaner in there. I think it cleaned it some. We'll see. If that ain't the problem, nobody knows on the internet what it is when it idles down. They've named all kinds of things and all kinds of sensors, and I've read all my codes, even my temperature sensor that goes into the. I've cleaned that out too. Show you where there it is. I forget what it's called, but it's like a temp sensor. Clean this too. There's videos on that. Cleaning that little booger. That could be the problem. Spark plugs could be the problem. Coils could be the problem. Could be out of timing. I mean, everybody says all these things. There's your coils right here. Now I may be able to get those off to check them. I couldn't check the boots on the coils before, May. Now that I got that socket, I may be able to break these free. 4 coils on here. And there's a way you can test those too. But if you text me, I'll give you my email and I'll share all the videos I've gotten on repairing this. 96 and 97 is alike. None of the rest of them's really alike. They say they are, but I don't think they are. Anyway. Alright, let me stop this video and put this sensor back on. I'll let you know if it fixes it or not. If it fixes it, nobody else has figured it out. Because I couldn't figure it out. And that's the last thing I'm going to do besides the oxygen sensors. I meant to show you, this is by using this other little 1/4 inch ratchet with a Phillips bit that I stuck some double-sided tape into the socket. I don't know what size socket it is, but the Phillips head, little short Phillips head bit will fit in there. But now I said, shoot, I'm going to go get that, use 3/8, get a better grip on this thing. You can't do it with no stubby screwdriver or anything else. You're not going to be able to get to it. You can kiss the baby on that. But the short ones go in the bottom and the long ones go in the top. You'd think it would be the different, opposite, but it's not. Okay, I finally got this out. This is your idle air control valve, which I'm hoping this is a culprit for the idle. See, I broke some gasket. Well, let me put it down and show you. I don't have another gasket. I'm going to try to put it back in here and hope the gasket will just match itself back up right here. I broke this gasket where it's silver. I broke a little piece over here. It's a lot of work to get off, and it's a 97 Nissan D21 body, 2400 12 valve, it says on the valve cover. Y'all know that, but I don't know. It's be a hard video to. I didn't video with taking it out. You got to remove some hoses. You got to remove this little plate right here. This little plate is bolted down to the right and below the idle air control valve. It's got 2, I think, 10mm, 11mm bolts that go right in here. So you got to do it precariously, and I label the hoses right, left, and all that. It go in these little fittings right here. I don't know if you can see them right here, front and back. When you bolt that little piece back on with that bracket, you'll see that. But you know, just label everything you unhook somehow. I did it haphazardly, but you got to know that if you don't, you might forget. But our layer control valve has 2 top bolts and 2 bottom bolts. And so there it is, the hole of it right in there. You can see it. Best I can do it. Which is up under its solenoid. That's the solenoid right there for it. It sits right up under there. See where that gasket broke off. I guess I should spray in there too. I guess it would hurt. Maybe that's where that hole goes, right there in the side of that carburetor. I mean, throttle body they call it now. I'll spray in that hole right there to the right. And then see if any funk comes out. I guess that's where it goes. That's got to be where it goes, I think. And I'm fixing to spray this out, and they say hold it upside down like this. Well, I got it zoomed in so bad. So I'm gonna spray this out right now. I can't tell whether it's in the, looks like it's in the down position, but I don't know. It's dirty enough to spray. I'll show this before and after.